ever so interesting to pay attention to the Minecraft snapshots. Almost every week you get a clinical injection of cool new things added, or changes about the game. One week they add the copper bulb, the next week armadillos. One week they might revolutionize redstone, and the next week they make Crafty Masterman seethe for the next 3 months. Point is, you get to watch the development of the game in real time. You get to see what changes about stuff since they were first introduced. Case in point, Wolf Armour. December 18th, 2023. Mojang releases a new snapshot, adding armadillos and Wolf Armour. Simultaneously, some jackoff makes a video complaining about the lack of mob drops. But I wouldn't know anything about that. When it was first introduced, Wolf Armour acted functionally identical to Diamond Horse Armour. Just instead of it being made out of diamond, it was made from some poor animal's exoskeleton. But as it turns out, even with the new Wolf Armour, people's doggerinos couldn't survive a single creeper blast. So after much hooing and hawing, the armour was effectively buffed in another snapshot to be much stronger. I say effectively because it wasn't just made stronger with bigger numbers, but rather had an entirely different armor system introduced for it alone. And now, for a quick sidetrack, because in research for this video I was looking into damage. Did you know how crazy the damage calculations in Minecraft are, especially with armor? Check this out. This is the formula for calculating a damage a player will take if hit by a sword. Why it looks this absurd, I have no idea. I would have guessed it would just be a damage reduction by a certain percentage amount, but apparently not. I even tested it myself. When I hit this horse with the netherite sword, it takes exactly 5.504 damage, down from a netherite sword's base 8 damage. That's right, 3 decimal places. Because despite your health bar saying you have 10 hearts, it's actually a total lie. It's just a visual approximation of the true amount. Sure, it says I've got 10 hearts, but I actually only have 9.999, sucker. This is how Wolf Armour previously worked, before they completely changed it 72 days later. Now how it works is while the wolf is wearing armour, it doesn't take any damage at all. Instead, the damage it would take takes away durability away from the armour, so only when the armour breaks, the wolf starts its torment of suffering. Except, that's also not true, because some damage types still hurt the wolf regardless, such as drowning, freezing, suffocating, and throwing your wolf into the vacuum of space. Which I guess makes sense, I wouldn't like it either. But you know what's insane? How tanky these new wolf armors are. One wolf can now survive 13 full strength hits from a netherite sword. Hell, put 20 of them in a room and they can easily nibble a warden to death, the strongest mob in the game. So I decided to escalate. First, I dropped a wolf from 100 blocks. It survived. I then dropped a wolf from a 200 block fall. It survived. So then I did what any normal person would do and build a mega death cannon designed by Razeworks. It uses hundreds of stacked wind charges to launch arrows at insane speeds. Now arrows do more damage the faster they travel, so this arrow in particular should approximately do 600 damage straight to the wolf's cranium. Let's launch it. And yet it still survives! Something fishy is happening. As it turns out, Wolf Armour damage is calculated in a bit of a funky way. The armour has a durability of 64, which means it can absorb a total of 64 damage before being destroyed. Except let's say I deal 100 damage in a single hit. What happens to the remaining 36 damage? Logic suggests it should be applied to the wolf. But this doesn't happen. The game just forgets about it and it's nullified. The consequence of this is a wolf wearing armor can survive a fall of infinite height, or take a single hit of infinite damage and just shrug it off. Sure, it might have been through the Minecraft equivalent of a plane crash, but you know, it was wearing a tiny bit of armadillo skin, so I guess it's fine. Now, I don't know about you, but this seems a little silly to me. In fact, as I was experimenting with the crazy stuff dogs can now survive, I realised something. Dogs, even without armour, are somewhat resistant to fall damage. Because if I push this dog off a cliff, it will only fall 12 blocks before teleporting back to me. You see, dear viewer, I've tricked you. This video is not about Wolf Armour at all. This video is secretly about... Now viewer, brace yourself because here come the hot takes. Wolves being able to teleport to players is kinda stupid and does not make sense for modern Minecraft. In fact, it's always been a bit ridiculous, but it's just something we've come to accept as how they work. The ability to teleport to the player is a gameplay compromise, because let's be honest, the Wolf AI kind of sucks. It frequently gets stuck behind blocks, or is unable to follow the player across gaps, or a whole bunch of other chicaneous scenarios. So the devs just made it so the wolf can teleport when it gets too far, as a bandage fix on the wolf being utterly brainless. In 1.21, the Wolf has received 8 new skin variants, the aforementioned Wolf Armour, as well as customization options with dyeing it. With the Wolf suddenly getting so much attention after 13 years, maybe it's suddenly not a far ask for the devs to look inwards to the actual mob behaviour itself, because most certainly nobody cares about the wolf. Sure, maybe they find Minecraft dogs cute, but they don't actually care about specific dogs. Each Minecraft wolf is functionally the same from one another. They have no individual personality. They are confined to one of two fates. They either sit in the corner of your house ad infinitum, or mindlessly follow the player until unfortunate favours. Go on, give a player 2 dogs and see if they don't mix them up after 2 minutes. Compare this to pandas. If you don't know, Minecraft pandas have programmed personalities, 7 of them in fact. For example, worry pandas will avoid the player when possible, and hide and cry during thunderstorms. Or lazy pandas will lie on their backs more often and are slower than normal. Look, it ain't much, but it's something, especially compared to the wolf. The point I'm trying to illustrate is, if wolves are supposed to function as pets to the players, they sure don't act like pets, or animals, or have any sense of self. It's quite underwhelming when you really look at it. Hell, even compare it to horses, which have a variety of coats, speeds, jump heights, health values, and genetic breeding rules, while wolves have nothing. So this is what I would propose. I think the most important thing Mojang should add to wolf behaviour is add the ability for them to roam a base freely, without wandering off and getting themselves killed. Make it seem like they actually live with you, rather than just mindlessly sit in a corner akin to a decorative armour stand. Imagine you're in your base crafting some ingredients, and suddenly your little wolf friend walks up to you, excited to see you back from adventure. Using this free roam base, you could then add more personality through hidden slider values. For example, how playful they are versus aloof, how indoorsy they are versus outdoorsy, how extroverted versus introverted they are for interactions with other dogs. You could even make him more active during the day or night. And with each wolf having random values on these sliders, you would effectively create a unique personality profile for each and every wolf, based on these simple variables. Maybe you could have a more playful dog that would chase his own tail, or annoy your pet cat by chasing him around. Maybe you have a more introverted dog that would growl at others when he's just not in the mood. Or maybe you could have a pet pit bull that mauls baby villagers when he's hungry. The possibilities are endless, really. Hell, at this point, I would even take some pre-programmed personality traits just like the pandas. It's certainly better than what we currently have, where they just follow you from point to point, staring at you with their beady, dead eyes. Me personally, I've never really been the type of player to collect pets in my Minecraft base, and I think the biggest reason is their lack of meaningful depth, which this certainly would add. And I think players would take a great pleasure in building collections of dogs, having their own personal favourites, and imagining some dogs as friends or enemies. It would really add life to the world, because as it currently stands, the most fun I've ever had with Minecraft wolves was throwing one off a 200 block drop for this video, and he didn't even die!